Hello everyone. Hello there. I'm so happy to be with you today. I'm always happy and always grateful guy. And I just wanna I always say that when I get started. Is this focusing on my face? I am clean shaven right now. I'm clean shaven and I have on my blue fingernail polish. Listen, my friends, I have, in the last, I'm gonna share something with you that is really kind of cool and really kind of interesting. And that interesting thing is that, as much as you are breathing, your thoughts that are arising in your mind, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thoughts a day, and you have an opportunity to be aware of your thoughts. And if you go deep enough, you are the awareness of awareness also, because I can be aware of myself, like talking to you, and I can be aware that my arms are moving, and I can be aware that just aware. And so if you've ever given any thought to that part of you that is aware, I can just sit here, and you can do it. You can sit here and I can be aware of me sitting in the chair, of my back up. I can be aware of my hair. Why isn't this focusing? Is it because of the glasses? I can be aware that I'm sitting here talking to the camera and wondering why isn't it focusing. And I can be aware of my blue fingernail polish, my yellows. You know what? You can be aware, and when you are aware of the moment, you can be aware of your thoughts and your thought patterns. And the reason I share that is because recently I have almost been hijacked by my feelings of some kind of feeling of judgment that arise in my mind, and it is from the observer effect. It's really interesting because I can recognize that I have these judgmental thoughts of myself and of others, and just my random thoughts. So if you meditate at all, you can really realize that in your meditation, your mind is really wild, like a monkey. And always when you're in that space of the observer, really, and what I'm talking about is something I've been reading about for a very long time, such as consciousness. And I always come back to recognizing what consciousness is, and my own consciousness, and being aware. And by being this way, you can eliminate your useless suffering of comparison. And everything that I talk about, what I talk about on my morning talks, is that by being aware, you can make a lot of change. And this is scientifically proven. And what is really interesting for me is there is something mystical about my experience, and I know that I go through a lot of ups and downs, and kind of extreme emotions, some days yes, some days no, and observing, and then there's some bubbling up, some kind of judgments or labels that it does to myself, such as I don't know, with this fingernail polish. It seems so profound, but we have been conditioned to believe a lot of our heads, and we're it is a conditional thing. And it's I think what I'm sharing here mostly is that there is an opportunity, and there's more than an opportunity, for you to recognize when you feel low and you feel like you're being hijacked by your thoughts of like inferiority or any, you know, that I talk about, you know, this is something that is in my life and consistent, it seems, or consistent, the kind of thoughts that arise. But I know for a very long time I've been observing those things, and I am not thoughts, and I am not my ego, which is related to the thoughts and the feelings that arise in me and all this. And that big whole charade is something, it's sometimes so like really, really believable, and you can really believe that, so you just want to hide, or you just want to just stop just being, you know, like me, like just stop sharing and stop this. And it's really important to share it because it's an experience of a person, like an experience perspective. You know, my mind can say so many different things, which I've shared to you before, like why, you know, like me sharing, which my mind can come up with a so-called almost the saying or the conclusion, or that I am asking for attention. Now, I'm okay with that. I think I like to be, I'm okay with that now, because it's not about attention, it's about sharing, which, you know, if we, what do we share on social media? Do we share, you know, pictures of our food, what we choose to share, or do we choose to share what is the most, you know, likable thing about ourselves? Do we like to for everyone to be, for us to be perceived, everything is okay, everything is wonderful, everything is, you know, hunky-dory, and that I never have any problems, and all these kind of things, and that we don't have moods that shift, or at least we don't share those, because we're kind of raised that we're not supposed to speak about our emotions, or, you know, speak about love, or really deep down intimate emotions and everything. Well, I'm like turning that basically on its head, because I don't believe, what I believe in my perspective, and it's only my perspective, is that that our private lives, that are private, so I'm really, really curious about that right now, that our private lives, you know, that what is private? Well, we keep private, and what we've been conditioned to keep private, and why, you know, the feelings of, you know, when you speak about the feelings of love and acceptance and unconditional love, especially love, like I've been conditioned so much that the love, that love I express sometimes comes with some kind of price, or that I shouldn't really be talking about that. You know, like love on a level. And, you know, a lot of conditional things have happened to me, and I really like showing this fingernail polish, like right now. Like, I wore it while I was teaching today, so this really brave of me. And brave for who, you know? It's really an interesting thing. I think our lives are so interestingly complex that way, because, you know, like, what do we fear? And what do you fear? There's useless fear and useful fear, you know, and I have a lot of little conditional fears, or things, you know, that are attached to my ego from my past and all this kind of things. And I feel like sometimes it's real. Like, I feel like it's just like final, that I'm some kind of, you know, inferior, and I'm seen as some kind of freak or something like this, or, you know, that I'm just not valid, or my mind comes up with all kinds of stupid kind of things. And I say that and I share this because it's really, really valuable, because I mean, you know, it happens to us, and I would consider myself quite successful in my profession, and all of that labeling and judgment has changed a lot. It doesn't mean that my mind won't come up with some kind of label or judgment of myself, which is really interesting. And I have to, you know, constantly remind, it's shifted and changed, because I've made a huge shift within my experience of my daily life, and which tells me also too that for me, life is an illusion, and it's all made up, and it's all just part of that. And by observing myself, I really realize that, because, you know, when I feel judged or labeled, or, you know, or something that I feel like other people are doing, that's not really happening to me. It's a possibility, and I'm sure, you know, there are always people who don't like you, and people who get you, you know, that's just the ebb and flow, the yin and yang. That's the whole thing with people and characters, and stuff like that in our lives, and people who are in our lives. And every person teaches us, so there's nothing right or wrong about anything like that. But, you know, at the moment I feel really, really like pretty cool and chill and getting things done and all this. And you know, the impermanence of those things, really, they come and go, and it's really interesting. It's just, the reason I share is because it's enlightening. It's more joyful for me to live this way. It's much more joyful for me to just joyful, you know, and I just, you know, I want to bring joy to my life and to others around me, my loved ones, but even strangers. And you know, I'm so conscious, aware of that, and I'm a highly sensitive guy, and a lot of you are, and I share that. Like, you know, like my mind can say also, like, you know, don't tell anyone highly sensitive, because they'll use that against you. I guess sometimes we're so afraid that our private lives, you know, especially if we share them, they're going to be used against us. And I guess, you know, that does happen, but I think it's very interesting just to be able to own your own truth, and to be able to there's a level of openness that people have or not, and it makes me kind of suspicious about everything, I think. And not suspicious, like, is that the word? Curious, more or less, about, you know, what is my mind creating that's really an illusion, and what is real. You know, scientifically, you know, if you go in that way, consciousness is a very big thing, and I speak about it. But sometimes you know, it's like there's a level, the expansion of consciousness. We know scientifically also that it sounds really crazy that these objects are being created by our mind, and this solid object is existing everywhere around the room. And when we focus in our intention, when we focus on something, it appears, but it's actually, scientifically, quantum physics knows that it is existing all around us, and that whatever we focus on becomes our reality. You know, and it interests me so much more than the human drama, although, like, I've just recently been, you know, hijacked, and it was, you know, I could start to believe it, although I don't believe it anymore, because I've just started the whole thing, and, you know, I started the whole thing. Let me just be more clear. I'm just much more aware of myself, and you know, I've just got sick and tired of all the suffering and stuff. And it happens, and when it happens, you know, it's another opportunity for me. It's like growing pains, I assume, that you know, and you just feel overwhelmed, and you feel stupid, and you feel like, oh my God, everybody's looking at me. Everybody's feeling, you know, like you're just like, you know, just stupid, and like, you know, you and all the negative things that, you know, that has happened so-called in my past. There are plenty of people that are gonna do, you know, that to you, maybe, perhaps, but why do you do it to yourself? And I think that's really interesting, because there's no victimhood here, and it can happen for a couple of hours, a couple of days, you know, something like that, and you can really feel that it's true, like there's some kind of truth in your thoughts or your labels, or everything is, I believe, and there is scientific proof that things are an illusion, and we do not see everything. We're not capable of seeing everything in our existence, and that really interests me very much, because it relates to, like, my personality, my ego, and all those kind of things that can cause me some irrational, useless suffering, some kind of useless fear of some kind of judgment, or that, you know, and some of them are really subtle, and they're really big. You know, such as these fingernail polish. I had a friend of mine to comment on how deep that was for me. And yeah, some things are really deep, so deep that people can't go outside and can't walk around, and people, you know, are killing themselves, I guess, you know, could say, like, because some fears are so irrational and useless, and you believe them. You can really believe them in a hot minute. And you can be hijacked by them and been blackmailed by them. And I just, you know, I'm here to share that there's another possibility. There's a possibility in the awareness of the observer, and being aware of your actions and your reactions and how you want to change. And yes, my God, you can change yourself. And I believe it is so beautiful, and it's, you know, and I share because there's a, you know, I want harmony. You know, I want harmony in my life. I want harmony. I want freedom and expression. And you know, I say that all the time. And you know, I share my truth because it's what happens to me, and it's authentically, yes, it's just who I am. So I hope you get something out of this today. I hope you enjoy my other videos, and if you haven't clicked subscribe, if you're here for the first time, I'm not sure, whatever, then if you like what you like, then click. I'm a very interesting person. I have many sides to me, and I'm loving expressing them, and today I feel really free with myself and being able to share with you just my truth, and that I'm stronger today. But it's just a roller coaster. It goes up and down. It's how you deal with the waves, you know? Just how you deal with the waves. I love you so much. Thank you again for watching me, and enjoy your day, and I'll send you a big, huge kiss. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.